Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Holt Outdoors podcast. I am Brennan Holt. I'm your host, and today we've got Zach Boring and Eddie Green. How does winningest Bluetick in PKC history sound?
Real good.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I thank you guys for coming on here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation for sure. That's quite an accomplishment. I've, been talking with Eddie here and there over the last 6 months or so, and I'm just looking forward to hearing about this dog, and I think everybody should hear about this Bluetick and what he's done in the competition hunting world. So, guys, I guess Zach, let's start with you. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
25. I live in Southwest Missouri, kind of about 30 minutes straight east of Springfield. And I've been coon hunting since I was 20. I'm 26 now. I've been coon hunting since I was 13, 14 years old. Didn't really grow up doing it, but funny story, some coon hunters, actually one of my best friends now, Justin Zimmerman, he got treed on. We got a pretty good sized little farm up here, and he called my dad and said, "Hey, you want to go up there? There's some coon hunters up there. They got on us." I said, well, "Sure." I go up there, and I found it interesting for whatever reason, and I've been coon hunting ever since. So, but
Yeah.
got a little construction company here. We pour a bunch of concrete and do a little coon hunting for fun and on the side.
Yeah. I keep up with you on Snapchat and stuff, and it looks like you do plenty of concrete work. That's not easy work. It keeps you busy, I'm sure.
Oh, I promise that. I've told Eddie before, once I got Zeke, I said, if you think I'm going to hunt every single night, I'm not. I'm pouring concrete when it's 9 degrees outside. It kind of wears you down a little bit. So,
Yeah, that's for sure. Eddie, I know you've been on before, but go ahead and introduce yourself to some people maybe that didn't catch the first time you was on.
Okay. I'm not quite as young as Zach. I'm about ready to turn 60 years old. I was born and raised in Southeast Kansas, and I moved down to Northeast Oklahoma about 6 years ago. And I've been an avid hunter my whole life, and deer hunted and coon hunted and quail hunted and all that good stuff, but mainly coon hunt now. And I think probably the first time I went coon hunting, I was 10 or 11 years old. I hunted with some guys there around the little town of Edna, Kansas, and then went off to college and come back, and I really got into it and hunted with my Uncle Richard a lot and, different people. So,
yeah. Well, I tell you two make a pretty good pair, I guess, because I'm not sure. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on this, but do both of you own half the dog, or Eddie, are you sole owner of the dog, or how's that work?
Well, I owned all of Zeke, and I told Zach after we went to the plate, I said, if you ever pass big country, I'll give you half that dog. So
I'll be darned.
Publicly, we're announcing that he owns half of Zeke. I don't know which half yet, probably the back half. But
oh man, yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, let's get into Zeke, because really, I kind of want to let you guys drive this thing, really, and I'll just ask questions and have thoughts that maybe people that are listening would have the same thoughts or questions, but I just want you guys to kind of take the reins on this. And I just this whole thing is going to be however long we talk, whether it's 45 minutes or an hour or however long. I just want to hear all about Zeke. And if you guys think it's best to take it back to the beginning and kind of talk about him as a pup and just coming up through the competition hunting world, we can do that. And then we can finish it off with that Quapaw final cast where it kind of all took place. So, whichever one of you feels like you can speak on it better, just talk about Zeke's younger days. As a pup, how was he, and just him growing up.
That'd be all Eddie.
Yeah, I didn't get Zeke till he turned 2 years old the week after I bought him, and a real good friend of mine, Cheyenne Cummings, I know you know, told me about this dog that Ronnie Smith had bought in Illinois, and Ronnie wasn't going to keep him. He was going to resell him. Said, you need to come over and look at him. And I went over on Saturday morning, and literally walking up to the pen, I told myself I'm going to buy that dog.
Yeah.
And just off his looks, and I just fell in love with how he acted in the kennel and everything. And I didn't know what Ronnie wanted for the dog. And he come out, we agreed on a price, and he said, you're going to love hunting this dog. He said, you don't need a dog lead or anything. And he opened up the kennel. Zeke just ran to the back of the truck, jumped up in that box, and
yeah,
I like that. But I started hunting him, and he treated a coon, but he also he was good at running deer, and he treated a lot of possums. And a young kid had him, 14-year-old kid, and he just let him do whatever he wanted to do, And I the very first night I hunted him, he got treed on a big den tree, and I recasted him, and he stood there and looked at me. And I put a dog lead on him, led him 30 yards, and he stood there and looked at me and followed me all the way back to the truck. And I recast him at a different place, and exact same thing happened when I treated coon, and he wouldn't recast. He didn't even know what it was. But I called that young kid who owned him, and I said, what can you tell me about this dog recasting? He said, Mr. Eddie, he said, what do you mean by recasting?
Yeah.
I explained it to him. He goes, that dog's never recasted in his life. And
yeah.
He goes, we treat a coon or a possum or whatever, we go back to the truck. And I literally, for months on end, I would put him in my dog box and move my truck 10 feet and get him out, and he'd go.
Yeah.
It was, and it took him a while, but he's always been a super accurate dog. When he trees, he's always going to, high percentage of the time he's going to have a coon, and he was super easy to break. When he's running deer, you could tell he's just opening all the time, and if I remember right, I really don't even think I shocked him much. I mainly just toned him, and
yeah.
And he got to where he'd treat 2 possums a year, and then down to 1 possum a year, and I truly don't think you ever have them 100% broke. There's always a chance they're going to do it, but he's just been a pleasure to hunt, a pleasure to own. You don't know he's on the place. If he's barking, you better get out there, and
yeah.
Been a pretty easy keeper up till he got our Lecchia a couple years ago. And I don't know, we got him on some different vitamins and nutrients to Elite Nutrition. And and that's helped him a bunch. He's a dog. I've never been able to hunt him in the summer much. He gets real hot, and we put him on that Electro boost. Was it about March, Zach? I think.
Yeah, I think it was right after Newton hunt.
Yeah, and just totally made him a totally different dog.
Really?
2 summers ago, I laid him up and never hunted him. And once we put him on that, Zach ended up winning $15,000 in the heat of the summer with him.
Wow.
And that's the only thing we did different,
Yeah.
I'm a true believer in it, and it's good stuff. But
yeah. Well, I'd say so. That's definite good results there for sure. Hey everyone, and welcome to Holt Outdoors. We've built a strong community so far, and now we're giving you more ways to connect, get exclusive content, and become a true part of the Holt Outdoors family. So let me break down our membership options. Let's start with our Holt Outdoors Fanatics tier for just $2.99 a month. This is where you get closer to the action. You'll receive loyalty badges that show your support, access to exclusive emojis, and get photos and status updates straight from us. You can even participate in members-only polls. And here's a great perk. You get members-only shorts. These are exciting highlight clips pulled directly from our full-length CCS episodes, giving you a taste of the best action. If you're looking for even more exclusive content, Step up to Holt Outdoors Insiders for $6.99 a month. With this tier, you get everything from the Fanatics level and the Game Changer members-only videos that include full CCS episodes. That's right. Every thrilling moment, every strategic move of the Coonhound Championship Series, completely uncut and at your fingertips. And for those who live and breathe coon hunting, we have the Holt Outdoors Diehards tier. At just $9.99 a month, this is the ultimate package. You get all the perks from the previous levels, plus member shoutouts on our videos, and access to member-only live streams where you can interact directly with us. Of course, you also get members-only videos that include all CCS episodes, guaranteeing you never miss a single minute of our flagship competition. This is for the truly dedicated. So whether you're a fanatic, an insider, or a diehard, there's a Holt Outdoors membership waiting for you. Click the join button below to pick your tier and unlock your exclusive access today. We can't wait to see you inside the community. Zach, where did your story start with Zeke? Just let us know kind of where you came into the mix.
Well, it was last year, right about this time. I think it was actually, I was at Eddie's house last year for the fall roundup, a big Bluetick hunt they have down there.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting, he's got some chairs right in front of his shop, and we were sitting out there, and I said, hey, they got that entry up, the hunt up there, they paid a $2,500 entry fee. I said, you ought to go up there. And they said, you know what? I can't get away because it starts on a Wednesday. He's a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, if you want to split the entry, you take him up there and hunt him and see what we do. And sure, I got him, I think two weeks or so beforehand. Took him up there, and we got lucky. We won it, won 20,000 that weekend.
Wow.
And basically, ever since then, we keep rolling.
Yeah. Well, that's man, that's crazy. I can't imagine that winning $20,000 in a weekend with a dog. I mean, that's crazy what the sport offers nowadays. I mean, it's really something. So I guess they're in the middle, Eddie. I'm curious, and you each can answer this question. But when did things really start to click for Zeke? Like, when did you go from having that dog that might run a deer or tree a possum or two to having one where you felt like you could carry him to some big hunts and compete? Like, what clicked for him, and when was it?
Well, of course, I started putting him in some UKC hunts and some $35 PKC hunts, and I finished him to Grand Nite. I mean, it seemed like it was 2 months. It was longer than that, but I finished him to Grand Nite with ease, and finished top 16 Oklahoma a time or two, and it took me a long time to really convince myself to even try it. But Cheyenne Cummings called me. I'll never forget it. I was headed to Dallas for a Dallas Cowboy football game, and he just said, Eddie, you have to start putting that dog in some hunts. He said, I've hunted everywhere against all of them. He said, they're not packing anything better than you have. He said, the only difference is they go and you don't.
Yeah.
And, he just, I know he's better now than he was as a 4-year-old, but he's kind of basically, once I got him lined out and got him going, and, I hunted that dog that first year I had him. I spent more time with him than I did my wife, probably. So,
well, how old is Zeke right now?
7 now.
7 now. Okay.
And he, talking about, the story behind him and stuff. And when he turned 4 years old, I made a fatal mistake and I sold the dog, and it was God sent that I got him back, and it just didn't work out. And at that time, it was a very large sum of money, and I just I slept on it, and this sale went on for 3 or 4 months, and I just kept turning him down, and anyhow, I think I finally told Lord one night, I said, this dog can get killed tomorrow night when I'm snapping. And but I sold him, and he wasn't performing for that guy, and I said, bring him back. I didn't want to sell him to begin with, and I took him to the vet the next day, and he was full of Orlichia. And when he had it, I mean, I'm talking crawling underneath the truck, come back, getting the dog bought. I mean, it was bad. So
Yeah.
came over that, and we've been rolling ever since. And before Zach come on board, Dalton Cummings put him in a truck hunt. We're one cast away from getting in. Hunter Chancellor put him in a big hunt. We're just at one cast away from getting in. And
Yeah.
we brought up that deal going to Plata, and we've been rolling ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys definitely have been. And I just hopefully one day I'll be able to hunt for something like that, because I can't imagine the feeling. I believe it's got to be nothing else like it in the world. Zach, tell me what's Zeke like? I mean, when you're handling him in a cast, what's his hunting style? What's he like? What do you like about him?
My favorite thing about the dog, is how accurate he is. When that dog trees, everybody says all these dogs are accurate. They're accurate. Zeke's the type. He's truly that son of a gun. When he trees, you're going to either see a coon or it's going to be a den tree. And if it's not, it's going to be a little tree about the size of my wrist that you can bend over and beat
Yeah.
him with when he trees slick. But that's not very often.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
probably my favorite thing with that dog is he's never just out of it. He always gives you a chance every hunt you go to. Going to these $6,500, $10,000 entry fee hunts, you're not drawing just Joe Blow. You're drawing Dustin Weed, Michael Ward, Dill Murphy, John Strickland. You're drawing the guys to beat.
Yeah.
And I we were talking about it earlier, me and Eddie. I think there's only been 3 hunts I've took the dog to that we didn't win a cast at. Everywhere else we're getting in the semifinals or the finals of them. So
Yeah.
the dog always gives you a good shot at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Eddie, you can expand more on that if you want, but to me, it just sounds like he's just a straight up coon dog. He just goes and trees coons and doesn't have a lot of downtime and doesn't miss very often.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't hardly ever miss. And like Zach said, when he does miss, it's pathetic. I mean, I'll never figure out why. But I'm like, Zeke, you can see the top of that tree. But I know Zach's talking about the fall roundup earlier. He made 13 trees, and I scored on 13 coon. And that Quapaw hunt, we made 7 trees and scored on 7 coon. And one night he was on dog tree to coon. He's super accurate. I'm not going to say 100% because he's not, but
right.
You're sure making shine time looking for one.
What kind of country and conditions and things like that does he thrive in? Does he thrive? Does he hunt about the same everywhere you take him, or does he thrive and look better in certain areas?
Well, I've had him. I don't know how many hunters a cast, and even before Zach got him. But for me, if I could pick a certain type of training, it's big woods. Where you just recast. Because what I witnessed out of the dog is he's going to tree 2 or 3 coon that patch of woods, and he's going to get country and tree one on the edges or something.
Yeah,
he's a dog. It's kind of funny. You watch him on a Garmin, and Zach can attest to this that when he cuts across that open field, he's going to fall tree when he hits that timber, and he's going to have coon. And I don't know what it is about it, but most guys look at, well, what in the world is he doing out in the middle of pasture? And they're cut across that pasture, and sure enough, he'll slam a tree as soon as he gets in the woods. And, but Zach's won all over with him. He's a dog that doesn't do very good in the South. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why, but from here north, the La Plata area, the Sedalia area, things like that, Illinois, where there's big patches of woods.
Yeah. I guess let's talk about Quapaw, and either one of you can kind of lay this out for people that are listening that maybe aren't familiar with how some of these bigger hunts work. But Quapaw is a $10,000 entry fee, and I guess Eddie, lay that out, how that hunt works. It's over, 3 nights, and, you get in 3 nights, and just kind of tell how that format is.
Well, it's like you say, it's a 3-night hunt. It's $10,000 entry. The split on each night, I think, was like 11,000 and some change. I believe, it's, in my opinion, it's set up to split. There was a cast one night that hunted it off. We didn't, but and I'll be honest with you, Zac and I had in our head we weren't going to get an entry, and because of the money of it, and we kept saying, "Gosh, we can go to $2,500 ones," and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been halfway through this journey or whatever. I told Josh Michaela, my wife likes to play the slot machines at casinos and gamble a little bit, and
Yeah.
he got on board with us and started help pay the entries. But a good friend of ours from Southern Oklahoma called on Sunday morning and said, "Eddie, you have to get an entry in that hunt. It's in your back door, blah blah blah." And I said, "Brandon, I just don't want to put out $10,000 for an entry, And he said, I'm gonna send you a check Monday morning for $5,000." And so I called Zac, of course, and we're like, I don't know. Well, Ryan Croson called and says, "Eddie, you're not using your brain here." He said, "You got to have entry in this hunt." So anyhow, we ended up getting one, and it's a good time, a lot of good guys, and I've said that, and though you can be in a $10,000 entry hunt and there's no arguing, no nothing. I mean, here he is. They don't even shine the trees. Yep, you got it, and you go to a $35 hunt somewhere and it's yelling, screaming. I mean, it's a fun time, daytime and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's a good hunt. My hat's off to Ryan Croce and those guys for Dale Kinder for setting it up. But
yeah, absolutely. Zac, talk to me about the hunt. I mean, did you handle Zeke all 3 nights?
Yeah, I hunted him all 3 nights down there. I've been handling him since I've got him. Eddie's took him a few times to a few hunts. He won the fall roundup with him, and he took him to UKC World Zones. But everything else, I've been hunting him.
Yeah. So, let's just go through all 3 nights if that's all right with you. What was night number 1 like? How did that cast go?
I'm really surprised I didn't puke on how nervous I was. I was a wreck going down there. I told my wife on the way down, I said, I just wish it was Sunday. I said, I'm ready for this hunt to be over with. I kind of knew the pressure that was on everything. I was like, son of a gun. I know the dog's going to perform and do his part, but I was just hoping I didn't make a bad call or overthink something. But that Thursday night cast, we turn loose. Everything kind of takes off barking. 3 dogs get treed here in this patch in front of us, and Zeke gets treed over across this field and on the fence row. Like Eddie said, when he goes across a field, he's going to have a coon.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we go in there. He's got his coon. 2 dogs had a coon. Another dog had a den tree. So I was sitting third right there because it's on the strike part of things. Recut. They get in there again. They kind of get split up. Them 3 dogs got treed separately. Zeke got treed again by himself. And they go into theirs and they're shine their tree. And me and Eddie break off. We go to Zeke's second tree. And moonlit night, they were probably 200, 300 yards down the hillside, if that even. Coon's sitting in the very top of this, but Brandon, you could park a truck in there on how many holes there was and how big the holes were. Me and Eddie were nervous wrecks like son of a gun. They were squalling down there. You could hear it. I'm just like, oh, goodness. This coon's going to jump. It's going to go in a hole. It's God knows what.
Yeah.
But
I guess it goes to show that just some things are meant to be, just
I feel like
when it's your time, it's your time.
Mm-hmm. He ended up treeing another coon that we get down to the very end, and Mark Gilmore's dog Clyde, it's won over $200,000 of side by side and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
He gets treed through the country. If he's got a coon, he beats me. And we're sitting on top of this hillside, and luckily we could hear Zeke. He was about a mile the opposite direction. I get him treated in. Luckily, they go to Mark's dog, and we go to Zeke. And as we're walking up, we could see that coon looking at us. And I knew no matter what Mark had, we won that cast.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Eddie was going to tackle me down that hillside. He was so happy when we fired that coon and everything. But
Yeah.
oh, it was a different feeling that night for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to make sure I got it correct, this was a 3-night hunt, and you all made history on the first night of the hunt, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then you still had a pretty good weekend after that, right?
Yeah, we got lucky. We got in the second night. I think second night, Eddie. I think he was the only dog tree coon the second night.
He treated too, yeah.
Yeah, he treed two the second night. We got in and we split it again the second night. We ended up winning a little over $22,000 just 2 days into this hunt already.
Yeah.
Didn't get quite as lucky the third night. Had a little bit of a bad break, but we were just right there. We got beat on a tiebreaker, so
Yeah.
almost made history. Get in all 3 nights, and split it and could have won another $11,000.
Yeah. Well, that's quite a weekend. And I know I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, is what did it feel like? But I just want to circle back to that with both of you, because that is quite a big deal. Eddie, how did you feel, after that first night, getting that win and becoming the winningest Bluetick? How were you feeling?
Well, we went to that last tree. Gilmore was in there a mile the opposite direction. And like Zac said, that coon looked at us going in. We knew he had a coon. And after 2 or 3 minutes passed, whatever, I said, guys, I'm going to walk back and get the truck, and I'll drive within 40, 50 yards of him and pick you up.
Yeah.
And I start walking down this bluff, and the timber explodes with turkey.
Oh.
I mean, it sounded, like 1,000. There's probably 20 or 30, but
anyway. I know exactly how that sounds. Yeah.
Yeah. So I walk back and I get the truck, and 25 minutes later, I drive down to them, and I see 2 lights coming at me, and I'm thinking, there's no way Mark Gilmore and that judge has got the Zeke's treat. What's happened? And Josh Michaelis was filming it, and he was behind Zac, and Zac walked up to me, and I was just real quiet, and he said, "You're not going to believe what happened." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Gilmore had a coon, and our coon bailed when those turkeys started flying out."
Oh, man.
And I just dropped my head, thinking I could see that happening to us,
Oh, yeah.
And they did a good job with it. It seemed like it to them, but finally he told me, he said, "No," he said, "We won. Gilmore didn't have a coon."
Oh, man. That's
it felt pretty good. And I set a goal, just like Zac did. I'll never say I've got a better dog than Big Country was. I've just won more money than he has. But, we set a goal to pass him. And, because when Big Country did that, Brennan, I was as big a fan as I had. And, they said he couldn't do it. And then it'll never happen. No one will ever pass Big Country. And,
yeah.
And we did, and it makes you feel good. Those guys, those hunts, and they're true diehard Walker dog guys. They congratulate you, and
Yeah.
Through this whole thing, we hunt against Thursday night. We figured up dogs won over $800,000, 2 trucks side by side. We tree 3 coon, they tree 1 between them, and it's a good feeling. And those guys are the first ones to congratulate you.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt, I don't know if Zac felt, it just kind of felt like just before the hunt, during that, everyone was kind of pulling for us,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's a great feeling.
Yeah. It sounds like, you guys have put in a lot of hard work and well deserving of it for sure. I've watched several things of Josh Michaelis's and listened to his podcast, and he does a great job with it. And you hear what you've already said a lot, is that in those bigger hunts like that, it's no issues. Everybody congratulates you, and when it's over, it's all high fives and all that kind of stuff. So that's good to hear. And Zac, what did you feel? First off, what made you want to give Eddie a heart attack like that? First off,
Be honest, I think it was actually Josh's idea. We're walking
yeah.
across that field. We crossed a little creek and we're walking across this field. He said, it'd be funny to mess with him, tell him that Coon bailed. Heck yeah, I'll mess with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he was going to kill me that night.
yeah, I'm starting to pick up. You got to be tough around you guys. You don't giving each other any slack.
Yeah.
Josh filmed the whole thing, and thank God to this day he didn't have the volume on.
Shoot.
But I've watched it a time or two. It's kind of funny now it's over with. But.
Yeah. Well, Zac, what was your? How did you feel? Coming away that night like that.
I'm still a little speechless on it. We've been talking about this since I've got Zeke last year about this time, and I always thought the dog was capable. I mean, the dog gives you a fighting chance every time you go. It's just one of them deals, When I picked the dog up, he had $8,000 on him, and I've done a little bit of winning, nothing like this. I've hunted some pretty good dogs in the past, but I won maybe $4,000 or $5,000 here and there with dogs, but nothing like this. So when I get the dog and we get lucky at La Plata, 20,000, it was like, we're still $30,000 away from big country.
Yeah.
Chances of us winning $20,000 every time we go, that's slim.
Right.
And it's just like, hey, I got all the faith in the dog. Reality kind of hit like, oh man, I don't know if we can do it, but once we got that accomplished, I've told my wife, I've told Eddie this, it wasn't about the money, nothing like that. I'm just glad nothing against John Strickland, none of them guys, but they buy most of their dogs already made. They're 5, 6 years old, and they go to town and do a lot of winning with them. Eddie spent, more time with Zeke than he has his wife there for a little bit. I'm just glad it could happen to a smaller guy like him. Don't go to all these hunts all the time. Made the dog. He's seen the dog from nothing to what he is now.
Yeah.
To me, that meant to me just as much as winning all that money.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, it's nice to see hard work pay off, and especially from a pair of guys like yourself that are just some of the best. So what's the plan now? I mean, what's the future look like for you guys and Zeke? Are you gonna keep hitting hunts and doing that thing, or what's the future look like?
I think we want to try to get him over 100,000 now. We got another entry to the plate of the $20,000 hunt here in 2 weeks. Week after that, we go to Newton, Illinois. They've got a $50,000 hunt there. I think, they correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're just going to kind of keep hunting him until we can't. It's everybody talks about that once in a lifetime dog, and right now, Zeke's that dog. It's going to take a pretty nice dog to even compare to him. So right now, we're just trying to enjoy as much time as we can with him and see what we can't get accomplished.
Yeah.
And I hate to put everyone says, well, how much longer are you going to hunt him? Well, God only knows that. And we drew Dustin Weed Saturday night hunting Zeeves. He's 10 years old.
Right.
Years old. I mean, and they're putting him in $10,000 entries. And as long as the dog will hold up, and like I say, that not next level, but the elite nutrition, stuff's really helped us. I think the
Yeah.
dog's acting better than he's ever acted. And I run that those vitamins through him, for our Lichia, and got him
Mhm.
got him all cleaned out and stuff. And Galen
Yeah.
Cooper's been great to us, and with that, and he's very knowledgeable on dog and tell you exactly what you need to give him, when you need to give it to him. And I'll be honest with you, and Zac will tell you the same thing. We said when we accomplished it, we were done. We'd never hunt him again.
Yeah.
There's always someone coming, and they said no one would ever pass big country, and someone's coming to pass us. I mean, that's just life. But so
Sure.
I want to keep going. He gets broke down, or get on losing streak or something. But we've got a young dog coming up out of him called Rip. He needs another 8 to 10 months, and he'll be ready for the big shows. And we might put Zeke back some.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you guys that too. Is has Zeke bred many females, and if so, what are his pups looking like? He's
bred 3 females. 2 of them was my own, and Stinger was the last litter. She had 2. One's turned out to be a real nice dog, and the other one wasn't much. This first litter, Abby, that's what Rip's out of. Grand Nite female of mine, and there's one over in you guys' country that I've tried to buy. Everybody's tried to buy him. You can't buy him. So and then we bred Trey Melton's Josie female. That's, I think, probably still number 1 on the reproducers list.
Yeah.
And anyhow, there's a couple of pups out of that litter. It's real nice. The youngest pups we have now, Henry Blessing's Roxy female. Zac, you're have to help me on that. I think it's number 3 or 4 on the all-time winningest list.
Number 4, I think.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Those puppies are 4 months old. We got high hopes for them, but neither one, Zac or myself, we're not puppy guys, and we're, I want them, when they're 12 months old.
Sure. Yeah. I don't blame you.
He's like any of them, and I'm man enough to admit he's throwing some good ones, and he's throwing some duds too,
Yeah.
They'll do it every litter. And if they say they don't, they're lying.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go sideways here a little bit then, because, I obviously I hunt walker dogs. I just have since I was in high school, and it's nothing, no particular reason. But obviously I can see when there's a good one in another breed, and Zeke's a sure enough good one. But it touch a little bit on, Bluetick breeding and things like that. I mean, people will say out there that they don't breed to winners and this and that. What do you guys think about that?
Well, and you can line up 50 guys and they'll tell you a different story, but the Bluetick breed is more about breeding to 9 generations of dogs out of the same litter stuff, and I told Josh Michaelis, everyone wants to talk pedigrees, and I'm all about pedigrees. I'm not taking anything away from any dog on pedigree, but coon hunters make coon dogs, pedigrees don't. And everyone's wrapped up on, what's he out of, what's his bottom side, what's his top side, and he's out of a coon dog. That's reproduced a lot of good dogs, lonesome 2 dogs, but it's we've been contacted more by walker dog guys than we have Bluetick guys as far as the breeding goes. And
gosh,
when Roxy had her pups, the first 2 books were from 2 of the biggest walker dog men I know of. I mean, they lead walker dog. Cheyenne Cummings and Ryan Croson bought one.
Yeah.
And so, that speaks volumes. But, in this deal, like I said earlier, when Strickland had big country, hey, I go get them. I'm all for, and I don't have a better dog than Big Country. I mean, Big Country did fabulous things, but he bred more English dogs and walker dogs than he did Blueticks. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I ask that from a perspective of strictly, not knowing. I mean, to be honest with you, just because I don't know. And I've hunted what I've hunted, and so I'm not asking from a condescending place or anything like that. I just truly want to know the perspective of a couple of guys who know exactly what a good blue tick looks like, because you've got one and you're hunting him. So what's your thoughts, Zach?
Aaron Gamble said it best 2 years ago at the fall roundup. He said, if you guys would put, I won't say exactly what he said, but he said, if you guys would put half the effort you do into griping about this breed and these associations as you would into your dogs, he said blue ticks would win.
Yeah.
But everybody is set up. They don't want to outcast on nothing. Josh said it earlier, and he said, Walker guys, if something's winning, they're flocking to him to breed to him.
Yeah.
And blue tick guys, like he said, they want to breed to the same stuff, all their own stuff, past 10 generations. Like, they may do some good, some local stuff, but that's just why you don't ever see blue dogs winning like what we are.
Yeah.
Is we're going to breed more. There'll be more crossbred litters out of Zeke than there will be all blue females. I'd say it's
Yeah.
just he's winning. Go breed them, but
Mhm.
blue dog guys aren't like that. They're going to keep breeding the same stuff. When Willie won the 2 world hunts, everybody's breeding Willie. When the rodeo won, everybody's breeding a rodeo. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious some dogs have got something if they're winning that kind of hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it. That's just, yeah, it's crazy to me. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know why that is, but hopefully some people will. Yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
Well, I just said, I mean, and it's happened. We'll have guys right here in this area drive 8 hours to breed to something
Mm-hmm.
and drive right by us,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and it's fine. And and Zach and I both tell you, we're in this for us a better dog. We're as far as owning a stud dog, I care less about it. But we're getting him collected 3 or 4 times next couple months, and it's deal. Zach's son and my grandsons will probably get more use out of it than we will, but it's just one of those deals.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are looking to, have the next one coming out of Zeke. And you're not looking to turn him into a stud dog and collect money. You're looking for that next one.
Yeah,
And you're gonna do it while you're still hunting him, it sounds like.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, nothing against Walker dogs. I've hunted Walker dogs, and I like Walker dogs. It's just, to me, I like seeing the off-color dogs do a little bit of winning.
Mhm.
If it's a blue tick, like Zeke or G-Man or T-Max or just whoever, I just like seeing a different color dog do some winning because you don't see them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are getting that way.
Mhm.
Um, I love. I mean, you guys can tell me this about Zeke. He's obviously, just from hearing the way you guys talk, he's a pretty good layup dog, right?
Mhm.
I
Excellent,
mean, I I
excellent.
love that. I mean, I love that in a dog. I mean, it's just I don't know. They talk about it being um, a trait that either a dog's just kind of got it or they don't, and
Mhm.
man, that seems like it's a good combination to have when you're hitting hunts, is one that can tree layups.
Yeah, yeah. Zeke tree coon before they ever come down. I've witnessed it over and over and over and over. And and the here really shine when the leaves are off and it's 20 degrees out and the wind's blowing. I mean, that's when
Mm,
that shine. You
yeah.
know, uh,
It was like last year at La Plata, the late round Thursday night when I got him in. La Plata, I think it was 15, 18 degrees out that night. It was cold. Uh, it was me, Wes Hamilton, and Jack Bingham. He treated the only coon out that night. Everybody
Mm,
else, dens, slicks, and not getting treed. That's the best thing about the dog is we've put him in conditions like that when it 15, 18 degrees out. We've hung him in the middle of summer when it's 80 degrees out at 3 o'clock in the morning still, and it's been all over from Indiana to almost Louisiana, South Arkansas. We got in a hunt last year.
Yeah, yeah, he's been all over the country.
That he has.
Well, how did you guys get to this point? I mean, if you could just look back at it and summarize it, like how did you get to this point with this dog? I mean, just a lot of hard work and probably some luck along the way. I mean, just kind of reflect back on that and how did you get here?
Well, you talk about luck. Well, you got to get the breaks and you got to have the luck. And it's so discouraging when you lose that big hunt by one coon or tiebreaker. They beat you by 25 strike when you got an honest 50 point strike dog. And you
Yeah.
know and it's been a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you. And like I said, I hunted that dog. I think last year about this time, I told Lori if I had $1 for every minute I spent with that hound in the woods, I'd retire. I don't know how much I had, but he's just a dog that makes you want to go coon hunting,
Yeah.
and I publicly want to say it. This is not possible without Zach Boring. It's not. I can't get away. I don't know if I would have got away. The older I get, he gets around better than I do. I don't want to walk to every tree. I don't
Yeah.
want to. And those guys, they run to trees. Compared to me, the way I walk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I still want a pleasure hunt. And send them to hunts. But you know, it's if you look at all those hunts, Brent, all the entries, just get on tomorrow and look at one. 90% of those guys have a partner, a backer. They're someone's paying all the entry fees. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. This could never happen with just me or with Zach. But I'll sit here and say without Zach, none of this would have happened, and that's why I gave him half the dog.
Yeah.
And but it's basically it's just getting out and doing it, just going to the hunt. Being man enough to bowl up and send in $6,500 entry. And just do it. And Zeke's not the only blue tick that can win. You're just not going to see him at them.
Right. Right.
Oh,
There's a few starting to, I've seen some getting into Final Fours and things like that, and it seems like maybe it's starting to head back a good direction for you guys, as blue tick breed. But Zach, how did you guys get to this point? What's your feelings on that, and just looking back on everything with Zeke?
I kind of thought kind of started almost as a little bit of a joke. I told Eddie to go up to that $2,500 hunt. And he said, "Well, I'll split it with you." I was like, "Okay." I mean, just ever since then, we got lucky. It's been 11 months I've had the dog, and we've won 63,000 with him. You know,
Hmm.
it's it's almost kind of like a dream, really. We're just two. We're not the Ike Rainey's or John Strickland or the Yoders. We we have decent paying jobs. I mean, we make a pretty good living for ourselves, but we're also out there working every single day, and I think that's kind of where it gets. It means a little bit more to us. We're out
Yeah.
there working class guys, and we get to go when we get to go. I run that construction company, so I can't take off all the time, but I can take off a pretty good amount whenever I need to.
Yeah.
But I think it means a little bit more having a little local guy like that doing everything that we've done.
Yeah. Yeah. I think right there, what you just said, everybody ought to hear that and listen to that. Is there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that are sitting out there saying, that's only for the people that's got deep pockets and
Yeah.
this and that, and you guys
Hey,
are the shining example that working guys with a lot of hard work and a partner that helps you and just a good team, you guys can get it done too.
I've heard it numerous times. I'm sure you guys have too. Everybody says, money's ruined this sport. And it's just, we're kind of, like you said, we're example. Yeah, it is a little bit of a money game, but a working class guy can still go out and afford to do it and have fun at it.
Yep. Yep. No doubt about that. And I envy you guys for sure, and being a good example for all the people like me who's got those dreams and aspirations of hunting in a big hunt one day. And um it's definitely refreshing to see a couple of guys like you making noise in the way that you have. And how many what's the exact dollar amount at this point that Zeke is at in PKC?
Oh, it's the exact dollar. I think it's 71,000, and I think like $200 or $300. He's just
Wow.
won a little over 71,000.
That is really something, man. That's just crazy to think about. Coon
Yeah,
dog winning that much money.
that's I kind of I'll talk to a few people around here about it. They say, "Oh, you're a coon hunter." I said, "Yeah, I've got pretty lucky. I've won 63,000 this year doing it." And they said, "Do what?" I said, "Yeah,
uh,
there were some people they don't make that. They're just the regular jobs. We've done it coon hunting, so it's
yeah.
a lot of people don't understand the money that's in the game now.
Yeah, yeah. I still get it around here. I'll go to the gas station or whatever, have my light on or my chaps, and somebody will be like, "What are you doing?" And I'll be like, "I'm coon hunting." And they're like,
Yeah,
either they say, "What's that?" or they say, "People still coon hunt,"
Oh,
and it's like, yep, sure enough. And in fact, I know some guys that just paid $10,000 to enter a coon hunt, and they come away with 22,000 for the weekend. It's pretty wild. But guys, do you have I kind of just wanted to let you guys say what you wanted to say about Zeke. And sounds like you're going to keep hunting him. I'm sure you'll probably breed some females along the way if the right thing comes across. But Eddie, is there anything that you kind of want to add? Just that we haven't talked about yet.
no, not really. Just the dog's a once in a lifetime dog, like Zach said. He's been a blessing, and it's I love the competition hunt, but I still love just a coon hunt. And you know, he's he's gonna. I mean, we're gonna be talking about Zeke in 10 years, and my grandsons love it, and hopefully they can hunt dogs out of him rest of their lives. So he's just been a blessing to all of us, and Zach's been a blessing, him and his family, and we are a good team. And really what I think makes us best is we don't care about the money part of it, you
Yeah.
know. And we did this for Zeke basically. And yes, I'm proud to say I've got the all-time winningest Bluetick, but I Zeke did it all. I didn't. I didn't treat one of those coon.
Yeah. Yeah. You just put him in the right spots, and a lot of times, I've talked to several people doing this podcast and things, and a common thing that comes up is we as owners, trainers, handlers, however you want to phrase it, we oftentimes get too much in the way of the dog, and we try to overcomplicate things. And really, what we should probably be doing is just putting the dog in the right situations and just helping guide them to where you want them to go, and let those natural things come out, and let them be what they're going to be, and just kind of help push them in the right direction.
9 out of 10 times, a so-called trainer will set a dog back trying to do their training methods. Just let the dog be a coon dog. Just hunt them, and you can train all you want to train, but you have to put them in the woods,
Yeah.
and that's what it takes. Oh,
Yeah. Well, Zac, you got anything to add there?
I was just like Eddie said, everybody talks about a team, and I've told him, and he's told me the same thing. You know, it takes a team on this stuff. It's very, very rare you just see one guy on there. I mean, even John Strickland, he's got a team behind him. The Heather Island team. Joe Manning, Cole McKevy down there in Texas. All of them guys have got backers, teams on it. It takes a heck of a team to do this stuff. I couldn't do a single thing of this if it wasn't for Eddie and his wife Lori. They've treated me like family, and I know Zeke's a once in a lifetime dog, and I'm pretty honored. I'm glad Eddie trusts me enough to keep him up here. I think he's only spent maybe 4 or 5 days at Eddie's house since I've had him up here. I know that's the longest Eddie's ever gone without that dog. So
Yeah.
I'm glad he trusts me enough with him, and I think I've made him proud now. So
Yeah. Well, you guys have absolutely got something to be proud of, and that's greatness for sure. I mean, passing big country and being the all-time winningest Bluetick, and I'm super grateful that you guys agreed to come on here and let me talk to you about it, and for me to be a part of the conversation.
Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. You said you guys are hitting a couple of hunts here pretty quick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to La Plata's in 2 weeks when we won the 20,000 at, and then we go the week after. We got the $50,000 one in Newton, Illinois, and then the week after that, I've got a little $300 Pro Classic here at the house that we're going to go to those, and then after that, we don't really have much scheduled yet.
Yeah. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck, going forward. And Eddie, I'd love to make it down there sometime, or Zac, I think you're closer to me than Eddie is, but I'd love to make it out sometime and watch Zeke go. And guys, I can't thank you enough. Really something to be proud of, and anybody watching it or listening to this, go find that cast, where Zeke made history, and reach out to Eddie. If Eddie says it's all right, reach out to him if you're interested in talking about Zeke, and definitely a dog to keep an eye on and think about, don't overlook, for sure. So guys, you got anything else you want to add here before we shut it down?
Just appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the support and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah. You two are definitely a shining example and hope for the guys like me out there who are trying to, make a name for themselves and have a good dog and win some hunts. So, I really appreciate it, guys. And we need to get together and go hunting sometime. And hopefully,
You're welcome.
You guys just keep on winning with Zeke.
We hope so.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We're going to sign off now, and appreciate it.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Well, there's Eddie and Zac, and really can't thank them enough for coming on. And what a dog, what a story that they've had over the years with him. And if I take anything from that, it's teamwork is a huge part of having success in this game, and it takes a lot of hard work. Some dogs don't start off the way you want them to or the way you hope, and you just got to stick after them. So Zeke is the all-time winningest Bluetick in PKC history. Well deserved, and well deserved for two of the best guys around. So thanks a lot to everybody for watching, and just real quick, thanks to sponsor of this podcast, Johnson's Telemetry, for hooking me up with my tracking system, and they take care of all my tracking system needs. So check them out if you guys are interested. And yeah, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, send us a message. Till next time, we will see you later.